Perk's big list of big men. He continued his torrid stretch last night with 31 points in a win against the Rockets. It's his 7th straight 30-point game and Philly's 7th straight win. And Embiid is the 4th 7-footer with 7 straight 30-point games, joining Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Shaquille O'Neal, and Wilt Chamberlain. And Embiid joined Allen Iverson and Wilt Chamberlain as the only Sixers ever to have 7 straight 30-point games. He's now just 1 game shy of tying their franchise record, and Philly's next game is against the Hornets on Wednesday. So back with Richard and Perk, and joining us for the first time is senior writer Zach Lowe. So Zach, I want to start with you here. What's the biggest reason behind the Sixers win streak?
I wish I could give you like a fun out-of-the-box answer, but number one, their schedule's been easy, and number two, this dude, who was bobbling in my background until a minute ago, has been the best player in the NBA for the past couple of weeks. His jumper has rounded into form, and when his jumper is in form, there is nothing, zero you can do except pray that he has a bad turnover game. 2 other guys I want to give a shout-out to. Number one, Seth Curry has been lights out all season, including during this streak. Number 2, Andre Drummond, 13 and 10 last night in 17 minutes. A big reason the Sixers are +8 per 100 possessions with Embiid on the bench during this stretch. They used to get killed with Embiid on the bench. Andre Drummond's had a great year, but it's mostly the guy bobbling in my hand right now. This guy's ridiculous.
Yeah, you know, Zach, you're speaking a lot of facts, but here's the thing: it was a lot of people out there saying, "Oh, Philly will be at the bottom of the Eastern Conference without Ben Simmons." And Joel Embiid said, "Hold on for a second. I got to remind you guys, and you remind everybody on who the hell I am." And I know y'all gonna say he'll go Perk with the MVP conversation, but like I said before, it's gonna be one of those seasons that is gonna fluctuate. And at the beginning of the season, I actually picked Embiid as my MVP candidate. Now I'm not saying I'm changing. I'm not saying that I'm picking him right now, but he's playing at the MVP level. And the thing that impresses me the most about this stretch with Embiid is his playmaking ability, because the great Kevin Garnett told me that you're taking another step forward when you're able to go out there and get your 30 and make others around you better. Just think about this. In this 7-game win streak, I think about 4 or 5 of those games, they hadn't even had Tyrese Maxey. He's been out. And so Joel Embiid, he has, like, every time it's a challenge or obstacle in place, hey, man, he's rising to the occasion.
No, I think all of us on this panel agree that everything in Philly starts and finishes with Joel Embiid. You know he's great. You know he's good. But then there's these moments, these 10, 15-game stretches, this month and a half, where he becomes the best player in basketball. And over this win streak, there is no one playing better basketball than him on both ends of the floor. You've seen the numbers, 7 straight 30-point games. Has their schedule been, let's say, weak? Yes, but we've also seen teams with great players like the Lakers, like the Nets, struggle against lesser teams. So, let's not just discount going out there and handling your business against the teams you're supposed to, and he's been doing that.
Well, Perk said the magic words, though, without Ben Simmons. So for more on the Sixers, we are joined by senior NBA insider Adrian Wojnarowski and front office insider Bobby Marks. It's no secret here, Philly is having one of its most successful seasons, some success without Ben Simmons, who is yet to play in a game this season. So, Adrian, we're just under a month away from the February 10th trade deadline. Is there any movement for a possible Simmons trade here?
Malika, there is no movement. And listen, we may be in this situation all the way until the NBA draft. Because, listen, right now you look at Philadelphia and the kind of players available to them in a Ben Simmons trade, Harrison Barnes in Sacramento, Domantas Sabonis, Indiana, and listen, John Collins in Atlanta, that's not going to move the needle at this point for Ben Simmons. And listen, they would, especially positionally with those players, power forwards. For Philly, it doesn't make any sense, hypothetically, if they took any of those guys on in big deals and to still have Tobias Harris on your roster at the same position, making closer to $40 million a year over the following 2 seasons. And so unless they could expand the deal, make it bigger, listen, Atlanta's not taking back Tobias Harris in a deal with Ben Simmons. Could they route Tobias Harris somewhere else? Listen, it is a lot of money on his contract. Listen, right now, think Philadelphia continues to be content to wait. And, their philosophy all along has been, if we get a trade package back that doesn't make us a championship contender, doesn't get us back to that level that we felt we were with Ben Simmons, we're not doing it. And so I think even with a month left to the deadline, there's a real chance this goes on beyond the deadline.
Well, they'll wait, and we will wait with them. Woj, thank you so much, but please stick around and come back a little bit later in the show. If we're talking money moves, we need to talk a little bit to Bobby Marks. So right now on ESPN.com, Bobby, you have an incredibly comprehensive piece that outlines what to watch for at the trade deadline, and in it, you propose one trade for each team that you would want to see. So what is that trade for Philadelphia?
Malika, it's simple. Go get Jaylen Brown of the Celtics. Now, I don't think Brown is available. I don't think the Celtics would do a deal. President of the Sixers, I'm calling up to Brad Stevens, and I'm offering Ben Simmons, I'm offering Matisse Thybulle, and I'm getting Jaylen Brown and Juancho Hernan-Gomez just to make the money work. And I think when you look at this Sixers team, great streak going on. Joel Embiid's playing like an MVP, but can we make the argument that they're actually going to get out of the first round if there is no Simmons deal past February 10th? I don't think so here. So I think to buy, you have to sell. And if it's Ben Simmons and adding something else to get a player like Jaylen Brown, that's the direction I'm going.
Thank you, Bobby. Appreciate it. Everyone should go to ESPN.com and read what to watch and the potential deals for all 30 teams. If the 76ers aren't your team, Bobby has info on what move your team should make. Appreciate you, my friend. We have so much more coming up on NBA Today. Julius Randle, he got booed at Madison Square Garden again. So Nasir Little, when he dove for a ball, it was near his ankle. So take a listen to that.
I tried to get out of the way, but I just felt like that was it was unnecessary, like for him to dive that far away from the ball. I was just trying to get out the way, but just unnecessary play. I asked the refs, you just got to protect our players out there. It's just totally unnecessary. I get Nasir wants to go for the ball, but man, that's just not a good play for basketball. I could have broke my ankle or done something worse. There's just no place in our game for it.
There's no place in our game for it. All right, so I'd like to bring back Richard and Perk, and considering Richard is already rubbing the dome, I have to ask, was that a dirty play in your eyes, Richard?
This is going to crush me. This is going to crush me in a way that is never.
Then we welcome it.
I've never been crushed on national television before. JJ, what is that terrible school you went to? What is your motto? What is your motto, JJ? First to the floor. You guys dive after every ball. That's some Duke basketball BS. And look, I know Kyrie. I understand when you get injured in that moment, but that is first to the floor. And look, I love Kyrie. That's my guy. But Kai, I've seen you dive after balls in practice. Look, he's trying to get the ball. This is a guy that's trying to win a game. That's what this is, right? Look, the Nets have not been playing great basketball of late, even though they've been winning because they have the talent. But unless you're willing to hustle like that, and yes, that sucks that Kyrie's, yes, injuries can happen in basketball. Kyrie went up for a layup in the postseason, landed on somebody's ankle. That wasn't intentional. This right here is just a guy trying to win a game. And truth be told, the Nets need more guys like that on their roster if they want to be playing better basketball.
Speak for your school. Speak for your school, JJ. Go ahead.
Well, so I thought you were talking about our floor slapping, RJ.
Yeah,
so
that's why I was a little confused.
It's
the fake hustle. It's the same thing.
Nasir Little went to UNC, by the way. Let's just acknowledge that. Duke's biggest rival.
I'm talking about him. I'm talking about a Duke guy talking about diving on the floor. There's no place for that in the game of basketball.
Look, I watched this game last night. I watched it live. I watched this highlight 10 more times this morning. This was not a dirty play.
Thank you.
Nasir Little is a hungry young player trying to make a winning basketball play. And if you look at it from every single angle, he is diving for the ball.